whether it's by hiring an assistant who guards the door so that we can, or I can more effectively on my end get things done so that I can serve more. Hello, welcome to the Insurance Dudes. My name is Craig Pretzinger. I am one of the Insurance Dudes, and today we are doing an agency playbook. So let's dive in. Something I wanted to talk about with everybody, as I'm Han Solo over here, is setting boundaries, talking about boundaries. I don't know if this is a term that anybody's dived into before, taken a look at, thought about, but something that I found, it's been my experience being an insurance agency owner and then with the other businesses as well, is that we tend to be pulled in a lot of different directions. And in wanting to be the good guy and be a people pleaser, make people happy around us, right? We're salespeople. We want people to smile and nod and say yes and like us. It can be challenging at times to say no. So we're gonna have a few things that we can do, but before we jump into some of the how, I want to talk a little bit about the why. Again, we're being the people pleaser. Why are we doing that, right? We want to feel good about what we do. We don't want to feel selfish. So what will happen is we will end up letting our time suffer, right? By with this perception that we don't need or we don't want to be selfish, and we'll drop everything, help somebody. Now think to yourself if you've ever had any of these types of experiences where you get a call, somebody says, got a minute? Hey, do you got a minute? How many times do we hear got a minute, right? And we all know that got a minute turns into much longer than got a minute, especially if you're working on some sort of project or you're doing something that's much higher level for the agency in order to get traction, working on a marketing project, whatever you're working on, probably is serving your business much better than pausing, turning, interrupting everything, and helping with whatever it is you're going to help with. So it's important to set these boundaries. It's important to learn to say no to the peers, to your team, and we'll talk about some effective ways to handle to deal with that. So, but it's really important. It's really important to guard your time, right? We all have the same 168 hours in the week, and we know that the people that are the most successful and have the best results, probably some people don't like them and don't feel that that they give them enough time. Well, are you in it to be successful and in doing so help more people or just help the one-offs? So this is something that has been challenging to wrestle with as we continue to grow all of our different businesses and more people want access. So we have had to learn, I have had to learn to say no, to really push away the one-offs, whether it's by hiring an assistant who guards the door so that we can, or I can more effectively on my end get things done so that I can serve more. Right. And as the agency owner, agency leader, it's important for all of you as you're listening to this to think of ways that you can help more and not be interrupted so that you can do that. So it's okay to say no. This is self-care, right? This is not being selfish. This is taking care of yourself so that you can get to the things that you need to do to be happy and successful. So let's talk about 3 quick ways that we can add boundary setting into what we do on a day-to-day basis. And this can extend beyond just the business, but also to your real life, outside life, where the same sort of thing happens. So one thing that's really important is we need to identify the things that we're doing that we don't enjoy doing and look at the things that we do enjoy doing and really put the focus on spending a lot less time on those things that we don't want to be doing, especially in business. If you don't like doing it, then don't do it. Find and solve that task being done by somebody else, right? We don't have to do everything. And something that I've learned over the years is it's a control thing where I feel like I need it to be done a certain way, or I need this activity or task to be done to my satisfaction, in that it needs to be gone through steps A, B, and C. But guess what? Many different people have many different ways of getting to the same result. It's just in how they do it. So one of the things I found was letting go of some of that control really helped solve for that. Again, we're the agency owner. We should be focusing on the vision, focusing on taking this your agency to the next place. We don't need to worry about exactly each road that we turn down, each different place and path that we take. So here's some examples, right? For example, I hate going through the email. I don't enjoy getting yelled at by clients on the phone. So one of the things that I did in my agency, and I know that a lot of folks, especially the ones that are winning a lot of the awards, are more at the high level. They're more the forest, not the trees, where you're not taking calls, you're not answering the phone, we're not necessarily answering emails. You could farm out those emails, but the more you can pull yourself out of the weeds and focus on the big picture, that's going to create way more opportunity for time and make your time much more productive. And when we do that, we're going to have to also say no. We're going to learn to say no, so that when we're working on those high level projects, we can stay focused and get results. Really important to do that. We can also create a better situation and design the space for the opportunities to help more people, right? We want to create a better situation in our agency. And that's along those lines with working on the things that we want to work on and that we enjoy doing. You can design that space, right? We did that over with the Teledudes, where we don't answer the clients and customers one-on-one. We can't. There just isn't enough time, and run agencies and work on other projects. So we created a meeting once a week, and we're on that meeting, both Jason and I, and folks come to that meeting. They have specific questions. We designed a couple other meetings that we have that we make appearances on, but we're not on all of them. But again, it's more bringing the community together so that everybody can solve each other's issues, and everybody learns much better that way. So we really got to stay out of the weeds. And of course, I did bring up the email, but email is really, really important to get out of the weeds on. So a lot of that is just time waste. Second, we don't need to give the answer on the how to every single person for everyone that needs help, especially in our agencies all day long, right? We could sit around and be Google and just solve problems all day long. But if we were to actually say, look, I'm not going to be able to answer those questions every single time. What I need you to do is try to figure out and solve those questions for yourself. And you can do that next time. And this is one of my favorites. We've talked about it before, but is next time you have a question and you don't think that you can solve it, come to me with 3 different ideas for the solution and 1 recommendation. And what'll happen, you'll see eventually they just won't come to you anymore unless it's a fire. And that's what we want, right? We want to help people grow so that they can get better results for themselves. A third thing, this is really important, to eliminate people being the time vampire, coming to you and needing you, because you don't want to be the person that they need. You want to be the person that is leading and making people better, but more proactively than reactively. So as you design roles in your organization for the things you don't like, we need to create those spots, create those roles in your business, in your agency, and then hire to those roles. Often we're just looking for sales or service, and then we bring on if they can fog a mirror and maybe if they have a license. So if we could get away from that and really define those roles, it's going to create a better situation where you don't have to set the boundaries quite as often, right? And again, as you hire people, bring them on, be very clear and specific about what those expectations are. If somebody can't figure something out, what they need to do, how they're going to solve it, and really set that boundary right up front. The more work you put into the front, the less there's going to be at the back, and you can always go back and talk to that framework that you created. So there's some ideas for setting boundaries and clearing up some time for yourself So thank you for jumping on this playbook, and we will see you on the next one.